Hello, Kaiwaza with you. Welcome back to my channel. And today we're going to continue looking through my Hawaiian record collection, but today is a vinyl update. So what we're doing is taking a look at the records that I have acquisitioned more recently and that would have been covered in a previous video had I had them at the time. They fall under letters that we've already covered in the videos, artists alphabetically. So just to let you know, my process is that I do listen to the record and I will record it and digitize it onto the external hard drive before I make a video. So now it's like ready to be added to the collection, and I've heard it and I have something to say about it, because it's cool to just show a record and say here it is, but if you haven't listened to it and don't really know, I would rather contribute a little something to the conversation. So when I do vinyl updates, these records I have listened to and I have something to say about them. Here's an album I would have thought I had a long time ago, but somehow I just never did. Never found it that cheap. But recently at a, what was it, public radio, KHPR public radio book and record sale. This was one of the many things I got. It was quite inexpensive, $2 or $3. Kamehameha Sings at Christmas. This is an album from the late 1960s. Kamehameha Schools is for Native Hawaiians. It's a private school, religious school also, Christian specifically. And they are known for their singing. They have concerts. They have one very well-known one they do every year on television, and so many people watch it. This is recorded along with the Kamehameha Choir, also the Honolulu Youth Symphony Orchestra, and it's Christmas songs, carols, religious and secular. It's actually a very nice album. Like I said, surprised I didn't have it yet, but glad that I have it now. An unusual record here, the exotic sounds of Jerry Sun. Jerry Sun apparently recorded an album in the early 1960s, 62, something like that, and it kind of just disappeared and nobody knew anything more about him or whatever really happened. And apparently somebody got a hold of a whole bunch of seven, I think they said on here, 7 reel-to-reel tapes, and they produced this album. If you like, it's very much like Martin Denny, Arthur Lyman, Cal Jadar or Jader, you know, cocktail, tiki lounge cocktail music, that kind of thing. As you can see, standard material really for this kind of an album. Taboo, Quiet Village. And it is apparently, I think the one I have here, I believe this means it's number 101 out of 500 that were pressed. And it is on beautiful red vinyl. The album itself was pressed in 2011. The recordings are from 1962. So if you like Martin Denny, you would like the exotic sounds of Jerry Sun. While we're into Exotica, this is a Les Baxter album I got recently. I have seen this released under a couple of different covers. The other one's more indicative of what it really is. I passed this record by a million times over the years because I just thought it was easy listening kind of thing, and it's Les Baxter, but I didn't have to have it or whatever. Somebody had put it up on YouTube, and I listened to it and realized that many of the tracks on here are actually quite in his Exotica vein. This is Les Baxter conducting the 100 and Strings Orchestra, and even though some of their titles don't really indicate it, this is very sort of typical Exotica music of the later Les Baxter period, the 70s. This was recorded in 1970, and it's very much in the vein of like the movie soundtrack from Bora Bora. In fact, it almost sounds like, to me, like, he wrote the music for Bora Bora and then had some other songs left over and said, let me do something with them, and did this album. I don't know. Just my thought, but I like it. More updates. This one is a budget label recording. Rogers and Hammerstein South Pacific Highlights and Songs of Hawaii. This is one of the most super budget labels of them all, Palace Records. I'll show you the label. I mean, they're super budget. I love them, actually. But you never know what you're getting with a Palace record, because what it says, as far as the table of contents, may or may not be what actually is on the album. I've had there be a lot of changes. Also, this one, so typical of them, says South Pacific highlights by Don Raleigh and his orchestra, Songs of Hawaii by the Islanders, and these are just sort of like the Luke Leilani recordings of random Hawaiian songs, which it says here are presented by Moki Ka'aihui and his orchestra, and up here it says the Islanders. On the label it says the Islanders, and where this says Don Raleigh and his orchestra, on the label it says Jacques Deriu Orchestra, vocalist and chorus. So who knows? And the truth of the matter is they're all made up studio names anyway, so it really isn't any of those people, but it's a nice album. Finally, for the vinyl update, an album from Japan called Percussion Hawaiian. Now, on the Canyon label, which I'm not familiar with, it's from 1976, this album. And it has your standard songs that are on every Japanese album: Beyond the Reef, Pearly Shells, Hawaiian War Chant, On a Little Bamboo Ridge, On a Tropic Night, etc., etc. Now, you would think an album called Hawaiian Percussion would make it a point to have a lot of percussion in the arrangements. Oh, and I should say who the artist is. It's kind of hard to read on this, but Haoli Shibata and the Honeybees. Yeah. You would think an album would, incorporate a lot of percussion, but the truth of the matter is they really don't incorporate that much. A couple of the fast songs, obviously they do, and then a lot of the slow songs, they just like put a little bit of a drumming or something in the beginning, and then it just goes into very stereotypical Hawaiian combo type of arrangement, steel guitar and ukulele, and it is a full orchestra, but very standard kind of arrangement. So I just found that to be a little bit disappointing, because I was really hoping they would, there's a couple of cool songs on here, but overall a little disappointing, and I was hoping they would do a lot more with it. Fortunately, I didn't actually pay very much for this record. I only paid like $2.99 for it on eBay, but like everything you get from Japan, it's the shipping that kills you. It's like $17 to ship the thing here. So yeah, I'd pass on this one if I were you and I saw it and I was thinking about it, but it's okay. I mean, I'm glad I have it, but I've heard much better Hawaiian percussion albums than this one. Let's listen to some needle drops. Enjoyed that. If you have any comments about any of those albums or any interest, just let me know. Leave the comments below and I'll get back to you, and I enjoy hearing from you. And we will see you next time when we will resume with the letter W.